Once upon a time, in a small, bright village, there lived a young girl named Amina. Amina was very pretty, with a sweet smile and kind eyes, but she was very alone. She didn't have a mother or a father. They both went to the stars when she was very little. Amina lived by herself in a little cozy hut in the middle of the village. The village was small and bright with many people who were usually nice and friendly. They loved to share and were proud of their beautiful village. But Amina often felt left out because some people whispered that she was different, maybe even cursed because her father went to the stars the day she was born. This made Amina very sad. Even though she felt alone, Amina worked hard every day. She did small jobs to help around, like washing clothes by the river and carrying water in her little pot. She did these things because she needed to take care of herself. When she walked through the village, doing her jobs, some people gave her smiles, but they never asked her to play or stay. Amina wished they would. And that's how Amina's days went in her little village, under the big bright sun, carrying her water pot and hoping for more smiles. Close to the middle of the village, right by the river where the water danced over the stones, there lived an old woman. This woman had a soft smile and eyes full of stories. She knew Amina's mother and father and remembered how kind they were to everyone. The kind old woman liked to sit by the river where the water made soft sounds as it flowed. Every time Amina came by with her water pot, the old woman would call her over. "Come here, Amina," she'd say with a gentle voice. Amina loved to sit with her, listening to stories about the village, about the stars, and about her parents. The old woman told Amina, "Keep being kind, little one, just like your mother and father. Kindness is like the river. It keeps flowing and touching everything in its path." Amina nodded, her eyes wide with wonder, soaking in every word. Hearing this made Amina's heart feel a little warmer. She felt less alone when she was with the old woman. They shared many afternoons together by the river, talking and laughing. The old woman would sometimes give Amina food she cooked, which was sweet and made Amina smile. These moments by the river became very special for Amina. It was her safe place where she felt loved and remembered. So, every day, after finishing her chores, Amina looked forward to seeing the old woman. It was like having a little bit of her mother and father back, even if just in stories and smiles by the river. In the very same village where Amina lived, there was a man named Khali. Khali was not like everyone else. People in the village thought he was very strange, and they called him the madman. They didn't understand Khali, and because they didn't, they were afraid of him. Khali often walked around the village with his hair all messy and his clothes a bit dirty. Sometimes he would talk to himself or laugh out loud when no one else was around. Children would throw stones at him, and the grown-ups would chase him away with sticks when he wandered into the center of the village. One bright morning, Amina was walking to the river, humming a little tune and balancing her water pot on her head. She was thinking about the stories the kind old woman might share with her later. As she neared the river, her path took her close to where Khali often hid in the bushes, watching the world go by. Suddenly, Khali jumped out from behind a tree. He wasn't trying to be mean. He just liked to play tricks. But Amina got so scared that she squeaked and her water pot tumbled down, rolling away with a splash into the river. Amina watched, wide-eyed, as her pot floated away. She needed that pot. It was the only one she had to fetch water. Khali, seeing the pot but not understanding her worry, picked it up and started dancing around, thinking it was all a fun game. Amina knew she had to get her pot back. It wasn't hers. She was only borrowing it to fetch water. but she was too scared to go near Khali. Now, Amina realized she had to be brave to ask Khali for it, so she thought of a plan. She remembered seeing Khali eating bananas by the edge of the forest. Maybe he likes bananas, she thought. Taking a deep breath, Amina approached Khali, holding out the banana as a peace offering. "Please, Khali," she said softly. "Can I have my water pot back? I'll give you this yummy banana." Khali stopped dancing and looked at the banana, then at Amina, curious. Amina hoped this would make Khali happy enough to give her the pot without any trouble. Just as Amina reached out to grab the pot, Khali suddenly thought this was another game and held the pot just out of reach. Amina grew desperate, but then she tried again, stretching her hand to get her water pot. However, this time, Khali suddenly reached out and grabbed her hand. Amina felt a rush of fear. She had never been this close to Khali before, and his grip was strong. "Please, Khali, I just want my water pot back," she pleaded, her voice trembling a little. "I needed to carry water or I'll get in trouble." Khali stared at her, his eyes wide and curious. In a moment of panic and hoping to make him understand, without thinking, Amina blurted out, "If you give me the pot back, I'll be your wife." She had heard such promises in stories told by the village elders, usually as a way to solve big problems. Khali's eyes lit up at her words, and he quickly let go of her hand and handed her the pot. He then began jumping around, shouting, "My wife! My wife!" Amina grabbed her pot and hurried away, her heart still pounding. She didn't really mean what she said. She only wanted her pot back. But words in a small village travel fast. Soon everyone began calling Amina Khali's wife. This made Amina very uncomfortable. She hadn't meant to make such a promise, especially not to Khali, whom everyone considered mad. Yet, this new title changed things for Amina in ways she hadn't expected. While some people giggled when they saw her, others seemed to regard her with a new kind of respect, perhaps seeing her bravery in dealing with Khali. Slowly, some villagers began to speak to her more kindly, curious about her strange connection to Khali. As days turned into weeks, Amina saw Khali differently. He wasn't just the madman everyone feared. There was something more to him, something gentle, hidden under all the wildness. Seeing him alone and misunderstood, much like herself, Amina's heart softened. She decided to help him, just as she wished someone would have helped her. One sunny morning, Amina invited Khali to the river, not far from where the old woman lived. She brought with her some soap and an old but clean shirt she had found. "Let's clean up, Khali," she suggested gently. To her surprise, Khali nodded, his usual loud voice quiet. They washed by the river, Amina teaching Khali how to scrub the dirt from his skin and how to rinse the soap off with clear water. She even showed him how to comb his tangled hair. As the dirt washed away and his hair smoothed down, Khali's true appearance began to shine through. He was actually quite handsome, with keen eyes and a strong jowling that had been hidden under the grime and wild beard. Seeing him like this, Amina couldn't help but smile. "Look at you, Khali. You look so different, so nice." Khali smiled back. A real smile, not the mad grin people were used to. Encouraged by this change, Amina found an old pair of trousers and a shirt for Khali. Dressing him in clean clothes, she helped him look more like the other villagers. This change in his appearance made a big difference in how he was treated. Children no longer ran away. Instead, they curiously watched him from a distance. Khali began to spend more and more time at Amina's hut. It was small, but it was peaceful and filled with kindness. Together they shared meals, and Amina taught Khali more words, how to sit at a table, and even laughed softly. Their bond grew stronger each day, forming a unique friendship built on mutual understanding and care. The villagers noticed Khali's change. They saw him wearing clean clothes and looking happier, but they still warned Amina, "Be careful, he's still the madman." Amina nodded, but in her heart she knew Khali was just misunderstood. She felt safer and happier around him than she had felt in a long time. Their friendship grew stronger each day. Khali's rough edges softened with Amina's kindness, and Amina found joy in helping someone else find their way. Together, by the river, they found a little bit of happiness in a world that had often seemed so unkind. One calm morning, while Amina and Khali were sweeping outside the hut, a group of strangers in shiny armor walked into the village. They were royal guards from a distant kingdom, and they looked serious and important. The whole village gathered around, whispering and wondering why these grand visitors had come. The guards came to a halt at the village square, their leader stepping forward with a serious look. "We are searching for Prince Khali," the leader announced loudly, his voice echoing through the quiet village. The villagers whispered among themselves, confused and curious. "Prince Khali?" they muttered, looking around as if expecting to find a new person they hadn't noticed before. "We are searching for Prince Khali," he announced. "He is the lost prince of our kingdom, and his return is crucial for the peace and prosperity of our land." The villagers gasped, their eyes turning towards Khali, who stood beside Amina, looking confused. "Prince Khali?" they murmured among themselves, unable to believe that the man they knew as the village madman could be a prince. The guards then turned to Khali and Amina, where they stood. Pointing to Khali, the leader asked, "Is this the man known as Khali here?" The villagers nodded, still in disbelief. Khali looked up, puzzled by the sudden attention. As the guards approached him, something in Khali's demeanor changed, as he seemed to regain his senses at that moment. His confusion turned to a sudden realization, and his eyes showed recognition of his past. "Yes, I am Khali," he said, his voice stronger than anyone had heard before. The leader of the guards bowed slightly. "Prince Khali, you are the rightful heir to the throne of our land. Your kingdom needs you. It is time to come home and claim your crown, as your father wished before he passed." As the gods explained, a long time ago, Khali had vanished on the day he was to be crowned king, leading to chaos in their kingdom. It was revealed that Khali had fled due to a trick played by a jealous stepbrother who had wanted the throne for himself. This betrayal had confused and hurt Khali so deeply that he had lost his memory and wandered until he found himself in this village. Hearing this story, the villagers' mouths fell open in shock. They looked at Khali, seeing him not as the madman they had mocked, but as a noble prince, unfairly wronged. Amina held Khali's hand, giving him strength as he processed the flood of memories returning to him. With the truth revealed, something shifted in Khali. Understanding his past, his confusion began to clear, and his mind steadied. The guards respectfully kneeled before him, pledging their loyalty and begging him to return and claim his rightful place as king. The villagers, now deeply ashamed of their cruelty, apologized to Khali for their harsh treatment. They realized how wrong they had been to judge him without knowing his story. Amina, with tears of joy and pride, stood by Khali, grateful to see the man who had become her dear friend come into his own, his dignity restored. As the day came for Prince Khali to return to his kingdom, the whole village gathered to see him off. The air was filled with a mix of excitement and sadness. Khali, now dressed in royal robes, looked every bit the prince he was born to be. but his eyes searched for only one person in the crowd, Amina. Before he climbed onto his horse, Khali turned to Amina. You have given me something no one else could, friendship and a chance to be better. Please, ask for anything you wish, and it shall be yours, he said, his voice earnest and full of gratitude. Everyone held their breath, expecting Amina to ask for riches or perhaps to go with him and become a princess. But Amina's wish was different. Khali, she began, her voice steady, my wish is to stay here in the village. I want to live in the place where I grew up, where I know everyone, and where I feel at home. Khali listened, a gentle smile spreading across his face. Your wish is granted, he said warmly. But he didn't stop there. Turning to the gathered villagers, he continued, and from this day forward, Amina shall be recognized as a leader in our village. She has shown us all the power of kindness and compassion. Treat her with the respect she deserves. The villagers cheered, their voices ringing with newfound respect and admiration for Amina. They had seen her kindness to Khali, and now they understood its value. Amina blushed with pride, happy not because she was appointed a leader, but because her kindness had changed so many lives, including her own. Khali left the village that day, but he made sure Amina would never be mistreated again. He sent gifts of food, clothing, and money to ensure she would always have what she needed. More importantly, he left instructions that Amina should be involved in important village decisions, honoring her wisdom and kindness. As time passed, the village became a happier, more inclusive place. People remembered how Amina had treated Khali, and they began to treat each other with the same kindness. They helped one another, shared more smiles, and the village flourished like never before. Amina lived a full and happy life, not as a princess in a faraway castle, but as a beloved leader in her own village. She often sat by the river, thinking of Khali and the strange, wonderful journey they had shared. She knew she had made the right choice and her heart was content. Moral of the story: always remember to be kind, even in the toughest times, for kindness can transform lives in ways you never expect. Through kindness, Amina not only transformed her own life, but also brought her community together, teaching everyone around her that true strength lies in compassion and understanding. I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, share it with your family and friends, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.